Before I let you watch the rest, I have to take you back to the beginning where this all started. March 26th, 2016 in Belmont, North Carolina, Yannick and I tied the knot. We're so excited to spend the rest of our lives together, but children were not a part of the plan. Growing up, I was very familiar with pregnancy, the birthing experience, being around infants, babies, toddlers, and so having that firsthand experience, I didn't necessarily have that desire to want children of my own. Yannick, on the other hand, had never been around babies or pregnancy or anything like that, so it was incredibly taboo for him. We felt like it was a match made because we both had the goal of getting married but not wanting kids. I went on the birth control pill for about 2 years of our marriage, but then had to get off because it was making me feel not so good, making me gain a lot of weight, and it wasn't the vibe. So I decided to get off of it, and we started doing the calendar method, which I know people are gonna be like, oh, that's how you got pregnant. I haven't told the whole story yet, so wait. We had gotten into our second year, third year of marriage, and we'd play with people, friendly banter, because, you know, people are so nosy and they just want to know, oh, when are you gonna have kids? Oh, you've been married for more than a year, so, you know, like, it was like, yeah, but really, both of us knew that that was not in our plans or in our goals. We were so, like, to the point where we didn't even want a dog. Like, we didn't even want that kind of responsibility. In 2019, we ended up getting our dog child, Theodore. And that really changed our little lives. It took us a lot to get to that point because we knew that having a dog would be a great responsibility and would change our lives as we knew it then. For us, that was a big step. Things really started taking a turn year 5 of our marriage. I think we both got to a point where we were comfortable within ourselves and comfortable with our relationship. We kind of got over the hurdle of being newlyweds. In that same year, we started our journey to move across country from North Carolina to California. If I haven't already said it enough, I'm gonna say it again. It was the absolute best possible move for us. Just being in a place where we feel so connected, so loved, and so happy changed so much for us. I had always been incredibly scared of that particular desire that women would explain that they would have when they would want a kid. I'd always heard of women really wanting a child, trying for a child, and then not being able to. In my pessimistic way of thinking, I was like, well, if I never desire it, then I'll never be hurt if it doesn't happen, so. And I never could understand women when they would say, I just woke up one day and I wanted a child. In the back of my mind, I always like, I wonder if I'll ever feel that way, because I don't. And we've been married now going on 6 years and I still don't feel that. The day came. And it was like how they describe it. Overnight, I remember very specifically. I was in this house, it was in the fall, and I had envisioned myself pregnant outside picking oranges from our orange tree and running around with a toddler in the house, in the kitchen. Like, I could just like see this. It rocked my world. I was like, this is it. Oh crap. I noticed that conversations with Yannick and I had started to change in this year. We started to talk more about the hood, the fatherhood, motherhood, a lot more, not necessarily in plans of planning it for ourselves, but just the general idea of it. And would it be so bad to have children? Kind of questioning the original ideals that we had about having kids and the unfortunate overall opinion of our generation where having children is a negative thing. You're losing your life, like you're losing your freedom, you're losing all these things and not really gaining much of anything. And so it kind of is like, why on earth would you want to have kids? So Yannick and I were questioning that ideal. When I told Yannick about envisioning myself pregnant, I was relieved to hear that he wanted to be a father. I think before I figured out I wanted to be a mother, but just didn't know how to tell me and was hoping that I would come to it on my own. I was just like, wow, we're here. Okay. So what's the next steps? When we had that conversation, we had literally just moved to California. Ideally, we wanted some time to be able to adjust to the area, just establish ourselves. And so we said, okay, well, we want kids. Let's set a date because it's obviously not now. We decided in 2021 that we were going to start having children in December of 2023. A couple months later, some of our good friends ended up telling us that they were pregnant. And we had been planning pregnancy with them for the following year, but they got pregnant early. necessarily. It started to make us think, well, maybe we could do this. But then obviously we're like, we're not going to have a baby just because our friends are having a baby. Stick to the plan, stick to the plan. We both were same mind. We're really happy for them and we're really excited to be on their journey with them. However, I will say that did something to both of us. It helped us to have more of a realistic view of what we wanted because we were chasing a very perfect ideal. We kind of started questioning, do we really need to plan this meticulously? There's no perfect time to have a child, right? So why are we trying to harness this and like make it the perfect time? Both of us came to a unanimous agreement that we were going to enjoy our travels that we had planned for the year. After we had our travels, we would then decide if we still wanted to wait to 2023 to start having kids or if we wanted to start earlier. After our first trip, we went to Hawaii and it was a very specific night. We were in Maui and we were enjoying a romantic dinner. We decided to write on the back of the dinner receipt a pro and con list of trying for a baby 2022 or 2023. Pros outweighed the cons. We set it there and we looked at it and we were like, oh, goodness. We had gone to take a walk on the beach. We sat underneath the stars. We were just looking out and the pessimist in me was like, we won't have this anymore. Like this will never be the same. And I just remember him looking at me and saying like how fun it will be to have a new experience and a new adventure and to be able to share moments like this with someone else. And I kid you not, I know it sounds like something out of a movie or something crazy and so corny, but we saw the largest shooting star, so huge, go across the sky, and it felt like it was in slow motion. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. We both looked at each other and our mouths just dropped like, did you see that? Like, what? And I was like, all right, let's go. Let's have a baby tonight. We're doing calendar method. So I was tracking my ovulation. I was like, it's time. Like, we can do this. Like, made in Maui. So Yannick was like, okay, yeah, maybe we should. And so we started going back to our Airbnb and we were like, yeah. And then we were like, no. And we were like, yeah. And then we were like, no. And then we finally got to the point where we were like too scared. We were like, nah, we can't do it. We chickened out. It's going against the plan. We have to wait till all of our trips are done before we make this decision. Once we got back home from all of our trips, we were absolutely convinced that we're ready to start down the journey of having children. Now it was the matter of looking into the logistics of everything. Here starts my personal journey of going into all the research of what it takes to fall pregnant. I was very thoroughly educated by the TTC, trying to conceive community on TikTok especially. And on YouTube, I just did so much research and study. I got cleared from my doctors. I went ahead and started taking prenatals. I even had Yannick on prenatals because it's recommended that both of you take prenatals before trying to conceive if you have the chance. It's typically recommended that you are on prenatals at least 3 months before you start trying to conceive. We waited about 2.5 months before we started trying. I was taking my basal body temperature and then I also was doing ovulation tests to see when exactly that window was. We had our fun, bang, bang, bong. 4 days after, DPO 4 days post ovulation, I knew I was pregnant. I woke up feeling nauseous. I was like, there's no way. There's just no way. I had every intention of this journey taking a little bit of time because on average for a couple trying to conceive, it takes them about a year. So that was always in both Yannick and I's mind, but I can't ignore how strange I'm feeling right now. A couple days later, I decided to test because I was still feeling so strange. Took a test, DPO 8, and it was negative. I didn't let Yannick know about me taking the tests because I did want it to be some element of surprise for him. So the whole time I told him that it was too early for me to test, which was true, and that I wasn't going to be able to test until the following week, which was when I was supposed to test. But your girl was being overzealous. I remember going to dinner with some friends, and I was staring at Yannick right before we had all ordered dinner, and I just started to cry, like bawling my eyes out for no reason. And he starts laughing at me saying, "You're pregnant." And I start laughing at myself while I'm crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be. Like, what is wrong with me? If I am feeling these feelings and I'm not pregnant, I am crazy. I'm literally crazy. That convinced me to go ahead and take the second test. Now I can share with you the rest of the video of me finding out that I was pregnant. Hopefully this gives you some backstory so you kind of know where my mind is at and kind of know how everything led up to this moment. But yeah, so here it is. Why does it look ghetto? Oh my god, I'm not crazy. Oh my god. It doesn't feel real. I'm gonna take another one. Welcome to my toilet room. Oh my god. I'm gonna do a digital and see what happens because that one was like really, that was a, if you saw the sample I have of my PE, I'm not gonna show it because that's way too much, but like it is the smallest sample. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to try. It's loading. I gotta tell you, like, this actually works out because if this is positive, then I can tell him today we're gonna plan to go to a picnic together for lunch, either today or Thursday. And I already know what I'm gonna do. I already know. There'll have to be another video. I did not expect this today. Oh, I hate those lines. I hate them. Oh, this man's, he will know like that. So I have to just. I can do this. Okay, we got this. Yannick and I are over the moon to welcome our baby Rook in August of this year. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to share with you guys Yannick's reaction. Love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.